Hello, my name is Grayson Reed, and today I'm going to be presenting my Thriving Together campaign for CCAV free tax prep in Lubbock. So, this campaign is really centered on creating a community of organizations that provide services to the Lubbock and surrounding areas. Really going to be focusing on building the client base for CCAV free tax prep and just some of the strategies that we can use to really put the name out there. So I'm going to move over into our desired outcomes. So obviously one of the key desired outcomes for the campaign is to increase the client base for CCAV, particularly the clients that are in that higher income tax bracket. Um, I know that that is an area that we really want to focus on is getting in some of those mid and higher level income brackets. And so that's really what we're going to focus on for this campaign. But I think some additional outcomes could also include increasing your overall brand awareness so that way people really know what CCAV is about and the services that y'all provide to the community. And then building relationships within the community. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the strategy behind that and how we can reach out and connect with other organizations. But overall, really focusing on increasing that client base and increasing brand awareness. We really want to show that CCV is a leader in building a stronger and more connected community in Lubbock. Okay, so our audience for this campaign, the primary audience is again going to be those income eligible Lubbock families, really focusing on those that are in the higher part of that income tax bracket. And then also, we also want to really hone in on some of the local nonprofits that are in the Lubbock area. A lot of times, the clients that are going to be coming to CCAV to utilize y'all services are most likely already utilizing some other service from maybe another nonprofit in the area. So we're going to talk about that within the strategy, but we also want to really focus on this influencing audience as well, just seeing the ways that we can partner with them to meet the needs of both organizations. For this campaign, I'm going to be utilizing the uses and gratifications theory from Katz and Blumler. This theory really focuses on how people that are consuming media are actively consuming it. And so one of the ways they do that is by finding ways to meet a need that they have. And one of the ways that Katz and Blumler discuss this is that people consume media to meet the need for information. And I think this aligns perfectly with what CCAV does for the community. Y'all provide services and information to families that are in need. And so that is definitely a way that you are providing that information, right? You're utilizing that to meet the need. And so I think this theory works really well here when we're talking about strategy and ways to connect families with those services and that information that y'all provide. Okay, so for branding, we are going to stick with the blue and red that already exists within the CCAV logo. I think it's really important to keep it consistent with what you already have. Even though this is a new campaign, I think by continuing to utilize your colors and your logo, you're still going to get some of that brand recognition that is already there. So we are going to keep those, but in addition to utilizing those, we're also going to introduce some new hashtags and keywords. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the importance of these keywords and how you can use them throughout the strategy. So the main hashtags that we're going to use for the campaign are Free Tax Lubbock, Thriving Together, and CCAV Lubbock. Thriving Together is obviously focused on this campaign in particular, but Free Tax Lubbock and CCAV Lubbock are both more general hashtags that really should be utilized throughout social media whenever we're posting. And then also, we're going to talk about the keywords just throughout any communication that we send out. So those keywords, you can see there are free tax prep and fast free tax prep. So there's two elements here that I really want to focus on that we're going to really refer to throughout the entire strategy. And those include free and fast. A lot of times there are some barriers that you have to overcome when you are trying to help your community out and really get them in the door. And one of those is the fact that the services are completely free. I think a lot of times when people hear about taxes, they think, oh, that's just something else that I have to do. It's another burden. And so we really want to emphasize throughout our strategies that this service is completely free as long as you qualify based on the income requirements. And there's nothing you have to pay up front. There's no hidden fees. It's totally 100% free. And then along those same lines are the fact that it's fast. That's another obstacle that I think we have to overcome is really showing people that this isn't something that's going to take them days or weeks. They can come in person for an appointment. They can drop off their information and get some tax help that way. But really showcasing that this is something that is going to be both fast and free, and really a service that can benefit them in ways that they might not even think of. Okay, so transitioning into the strategies. So I'm going to talk about three key strategies that we're going to utilize throughout the campaign, and really focus on some of the logistics that we can utilize to reach out to these different organizations and to these potential clients. So the first one is going to be social media marketing. Then we'll talk about community partnerships. And finally, we'll move into media outreach. So, social media marketing. You can see here that I've given kind of a sample social media post. This is something that, again, aligns with the branding that we talked about in the previous slides and really utilizes that keyword about free tax prep. We would include some of the hashtags that I mentioned before and then really focus on utilizing, again, fast and free within the caption on this post. Again, this is just a sample one, but for any post that we make throughout the campaign, we really want to keep it visually consistent. And so we're going to make sure that we use those branding guidelines, the colors and the logos. We utilize the hashtags and keywords that we talked about before, and we're posting consistently. So we'll talk a little bit more in the timeline section about how often we're posting and the kind of content that we want to post, but really utilizing some of the stuff that we established earlier on. Throughout our social media marketing campaigns, we really want to make sure that we're telling stories. I think that this is something that's really important for any organization, but especially for nonprofits. Um, Nonprofits are the heart of a community. And so being able to tell the stories of people who are walking in the door who might not have any idea about the kind of services that CCAV can provide is something that I think is going to be really beneficial as we communicate some of the stuff that's happening. And so, really being able to humanize CCAV and show that these are real people, you're getting helped by real people, and they can really help you out in ways that you might not even know. So, really making sure that we're focusing on the storytelling aspect. And then finally, I know that sometimes budgetary restraints can be an issue when it comes to marketing on social media. But if you do have a little bit of budget, we can always mix in some paid and organic content. You can always boost a post or two just to get a little bit more reach. Okay, community partnerships. So this is really the main strategy for the campaign. It's part of the Thriving Together idea that I touched on in the beginning. But the main idea for this strategy is to really identify some other similar organizations that are already helping these individuals in the Lubbock area. So you can see here that I mentioned Lubbock Impact and the Lubbock Dream Center. So these are organizations that your potential clients are probably already going to or have at least heard of. And so I think that it's really important to collaborate with these organizations to benefit both of you. So we want to really reach out to these other organizations and say, hey, how can we work with you to partner on this specific initiative? And so, for example, Lubbock Impact and Lubbock Dream Center, they probably don't help very much with taxes, but that's something that you guys specialize in. So we really want to say, hey, this is a service that we can provide to your clients. Is there a way that we can provide you with marketing material? Can we come to one of your events? Really, just finding ways to work together to help both of you out. So, like I mentioned, we would do outreach and events. We would provide them with marketing materials. That could be flyers, that could be a little business card, a sticker, something like that that they can provide to the clients that they already have. That would really help us put our name out there. And then again, just really aligning and partnering on any kind of similar initiatives, just to create one collective community that's really connected to the resources that are out there. And then for our media outreach, we'll kind of go down the line here. The most important thing is to identify some local media outlets that we can pitch stories to. So I know we can talk to KCBD and KLBK about some of the ways that we can pitch stories to them. You can see I included a sample press release over here. But we also want to be able to provide them with marketing material. And again, really focusing on that human interest storytelling piece about some of the amazing stuff that's happening at CCAV. So if we can tell them, we provided this mom with these services and now she's able to do this, this, and this, I think it's really going to be beneficial in the long run. And then once we do receive coverage from some of these organizations, we want to track it and share it on our social media. Again, just another way to reinforce some of the good stuff that's happening at CCAV. In the long run, we really want to create a partnership with other local media organizations. So, really developing that relationship so that way they know, hey, tax season is coming up. I need to talk to CCAV about what they're doing this year. So, really just developing that relationship so that way you can reach out to them later on and just continue to develop a relationship with them. And then the timeline for this campaign. So we're really focused in December and January on building that brand and campaign awareness before tax season ever gets here. And we want to post pretty consistently on all platforms, really utilizing those keywords and hashtags. So this could mean that we're posting, 2 times a week leading up into tax season. And then again, really reaching out to those potential local partner organizations to start developing that relationship that we can rely on throughout tax season, and then again in the spring and the summer. In February and April, we're going to start pitching stories frequently to the local media. So we really want to tell them, hey, tax season is coming up. These are the services that we provide. Again, really connecting the visual and verbal there, providing them with graphics, and emphasizing that this is a fast and free service to families that are eligible in the Lubbock area. And then we're going to increase our posting and focus on content that's based again on storytelling and specific services. So this could bump our content up to 3 to 4 times a week. Really want to focus again on some human interest stories, and then also really showcasing the volunteers and some of the work that they're doing as well. And then hopefully by then we've developed a relationship within some of those other partner organizations. So we're collaborating them again on those events and other potential outreach opportunities. And then in April and May, once we're towards the end of tax season, we would continue to send some additional stories. We could continue posting again on social media. We don't have to post quite as frequently because tax season would be over. But if we can identify some, again, stories that are impactful, we could obviously utilize those throughout the end of the campaign. And then talking with our partner organizations about any kind of future collaborations. Again, this is just kind of long-term planning and just knowing, hey, this is an event that's coming up that I would love to help out with, that we would love to partner with you on. And so just kind of knowing what opportunities are available. Okay, the key successful outcomes for this campaign. Obviously, the main outcome that we're looking for here is an increase in clients. So we'll really be able to gauge this if we are serving more families that are in need this season in comparison to previous seasons. But some additional benefits that will hopefully come from the campaign are to increase our media coverage by some additional articles, interviews, and features that are in local media outlets. Again, partnering with those organizations like KCBD or KLBK. And then also an increase in engagement and reach. We'll really be able to gauge this on social media as well. If we're seeing higher numbers of views, reach, and engagement with our content, we'll know that that aspect is working as well. This is my references section. Again, I mentioned Blakeman and Katz and Blumler with RUGT theory. And that's going to conclude my presentation. I really appreciate you watching. Again, this is really just centered on creating a campaign that is built on providing resources to families in the Lubbock area. We can utilize those 3 key strategies that I mentioned to really reach out and create a connected community that has access to the resources that they need to thrive and be successful. Thank you so much for watching.